It's JoJo Capone. Shout out Mikey T, the movie star, and we live right now on Report Card Radio.
Dope to have you on the channel. I'm gonna call this the Global Gangster Edition. So, can you explain this phrase to me? I'm your big homie's big homie.
Meaning, in our generation, I mean, you know, in our culture, it might be like, okay, say this. So I'm gonna give you a prime example: Papoose and Saigon, and you can flip it on either side. If Saigon, my younger brother, you see what I'm saying, and Papoose is saying Saigon is his big homie, you get where I'm coming from?
I'm following you.
So it's like Saigon, my little brother. So I'm your big homie's big homie. You see what I'm saying? So it's like a ranks thing, like, you know, like that. So that's what is considered, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it ain't no belittling nobody or acting like this person ain't that or that, but that's basically the term of that. And global gangsters, of course, is a mind frame. You know, suckers do what they can, gangsters do what they want, you know, and not even so much of that. It's just that, you know, me, myself, considerably, you know, being known as a gangster and traveling the world. You know what I'm saying? Out of 6 continents, I'm covering, out of 7 continents, I'm covering 6. And out of 196 countries, I'm covering over 147. So I'm undisputedly a global gangster. You know what I'm saying? Because I've physically been around the world. You know, so once again, that's why I say I always make the good out of something. You know what I'm saying? I make the good out of something. I don't utilize it as just because it's the word gangster that it got to be derogatory or negative. You know what I'm saying? No, it's just a mind frame. It's just a thought process. When you knew of gangsters, you knew gangsters putting in the work of enforcing something, you know, and doing something like that. So that's all. I didn't care the need to change the spelling and all that. So that's why I always told people it's the correct spelling. It's not GSTA. That's the studio gangster. Mine, global gangsters, the correct spelling. You know.
So can you tell me about being born in Chicago? What was it like your early years there? Were you respected because of your family's history?
I don't really never bank on my family history as far as me is concerned, because I was always out in the street alone with myself and my crew and whoever I ran with like that. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, oh, he's from the Jackson family, so you bet not mess with. No, I didn't come up like that. And then not for nothing, you know, I'm born in Chicago, but I'm raised in New York, LA, and Miami, and Puerto Rico. Then I came back to Chicago. Then we went to Miami. We moved to Miami. Then we moved to LA. You know what I'm saying? So then New York. So you know what I'm saying? So that's why I can go places and so many people know me everywhere, because I was amongst them. You know what I'm saying? To whereas if I went to, you know, here in Chicago and all our projects, I lived in every project community here. So, and I was always somebody, whether I was never the class clown, but the fighter or the popular kid in school. So, you know, that's just how I was. I always had that it factor, as they would say.
So when did you first get a chance to see that you could actually get involved in the music industry?
I mean, first get involved, I knew that all you needed was your own bankroll, you know, so I always had my own bankroll. So my little cousin, rest in peace, Cole Black, he from my neighborhood, Sircon City, and he was like, you know, doing talent shows and everything. So he was already in the game heavy. So he was telling me, like, you know, cuz, you know, invest in me, you know. So I didn't really know what he meant when he was saying invest in him or whatever, but he knew that I used to go to the Freaknik and Jack the Rapper, and he knew that I knew, you know, Puff and Nas and all these people. Like, he knew that I knew them already, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I be having to realize right now today that I'm like, damn, do people really with me for me, or is they only with me because of my plugs and connections? You see what I'm saying? Because I never thought about it like that. Like, damn, you know, you would think people reaching out to you, you know, just hey, JoJo, what's up, buddy, or whatever. And in reality, they don't with you for real. You know what I'm saying? They just with you because they a rapper and they trying to get put on in the game. And they know that, oh, Birdman and Slim is his family, so he can sign us. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, that's why I say it's business. It ain't personal. You know what I'm saying? So you got to realize that, like, these people don't really know you or like you like that. That's why I started a consulting company. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't feel no type of way. You're going to pay me to speak or talk or do any meetings or anything.
So obviously, you know, at the beginning of the interview, you had mentioned you had started doing shows. You were actually doing shows with some high caliber artists. How did you turn that into an association and get in the attention of Diddy, who told you to start a record label?
Well, basically, my Aunt Minnie, rest in peace, Aunt Minnie and Janice, which is Puff mother, they come up together, and his father. So she's really like Puff and May's godmother. You know what I'm saying? So like I say, since a child, I always knew of Diddy. You know what I'm saying? And when my little cousin did say invest in him, I took the initiative to educate myself on what he meant and what he wanted me to do. So therefore, I knew that I had to start a label, which Diddy was like, start the label. So I had to figure out a name that I wanted to come up with for the label, which was Act Like an Entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And then my movement is Global Gangsters. And then I put a group to be the spokesperson for my movement, Global Gangsters, which is where you came from all the artists that was signed, from Jeezy, Ross, Mano, Saigon, True Life. You know, like the umbrella was huge, you know what I'm saying? And then you got Pistol Pete, Black Rose, Chachi, Big Blast, you know what I'm saying? And those was the face of Global Gangsters, the movement, you know what I'm saying? So from that point, because my first group was Mind, Body, and Soul, which was Cold Black, C-Note, and Rello. And then I lost Rello to gun violence. Cold Black, which is my little cousin that got me to do this everything, he passed away from an asthma attack. So that left C-Note by himself. So what I did was took C-Note from my projects, which is the Ida B. Wells. C-Note and Rello was from my projects, Ida B. Wells. And I took C-Note and put him with Sircon City, with the people from my neighborhood, which was Pistol Pete, Blast, Chachi, Black Rose, and I just made him the honorary member of Global Gangsters with them. So that's how that went. And they gave him a warm embrace. They embraced him because actually Big Blast and Pistol from the Ida B. Wells too. They was born in the Ida B. Wells. So it's just, you know, it's actually funny that they actually was born in the Ida B. Wells, but then when they moved out of the Ida B. Wells and moved to Sircon City, so in their heart and their mind, they'll let you know, like, man, we from Sircon City, but in reality, they was born in the Ida B. Wells as well. So we had a very similar, ironic, that's just how it wound up being, you know. So from that point, I came back to Chicago because we did 2 shows in Philly and Baltimore. I had Lil Kim, Nelly, Mobb Deep, Beanie Siegel, Eve, and I know it's probably somebody else, Gilly the Kid in them group. And we did Philly and Baltimore. And me and my business partner, you know, because like he was promoting 3 years before me. So he was like, bro, I'm telling you, let's do Philly and Baltimore. So I was saying, me being in the Midwest and him from being from Brooklyn, I'm like, well, let's do a show in Baltimore since that was one of our cities. And I said, and let's do Milwaukee or Minnesota, you know, or St. Louis. Just trying to, you know what I'm saying, do. So I was like, forget it. He's like, man, bro, I'm telling you, man, I've been doing this before you let me. So we wound up doing the shows and everything. And we basically was just utilizing our relationship. Oh, and Lil Kim. And Lil Kim was on the show too. So we was just utilizing our relationships with who we knew already and who knew us. So it wasn't hard for us to do. You know what I'm saying?
Could you tell me how you linked up with Juvenile, Wacko, and Skip? You said it involved distribution. So was it the next step for your label?
Yeah, that was the next step for my label, the distribution deal. Actually, me and Juvenile had did a distribution deal with this company. And there was some brothers that had their own distribution company. I don't know if their last name was Johnson, something like that. but they had a distribution company. Damn, I would have had to see. You caught me off guard with the interview. I could have had that CD. I could have found my old CD and knew exactly what was the name of the company. But they were some brothers from New York though, and they had their own distribution company. They had people like Jeffrey Osborne and stuff like that. They was distributing for people like that.
What type of experiences did you have linking up with Juvenile? He was one of the most notable artists at that point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, you know, New Orleans is second home. My family is from there, of course. So I always knew Juvie anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I lived in New Orleans as well.
Did your relationship with G Unit come through the game, or did it start before that?
No, I came before that. I've been knew them. You know what I'm saying? I've been knew them from my time in Queens and Hollis, running through Queens and Hollis crew. You know, salute Hollis crew, and it just be coming full circle. You know, so from the business side of things, I was a part of Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? So in the midst of that, you know, of course, we became closer because before that, I was at Violator. You know what I'm saying? So I was at Violator in producer management. That was the office. I had the first office as soon as you walk through the door to the right. That was my office. And myself and John Monopoly had that job, you know what I'm saying, with, of course, Chris Lighty, rest in peace, Chris Lighty and Todd Moskowitz. So I had my own relationship with Chris because Chris had seen me in Georgetown, and I had the store locked down because I was in there shopping. So when I came out, he was waiting out there. He was like, damn, who was they didn't shut the store down. We can't get in shopping. So when I came out, he had Dave Lighty with him, his brother. So he was like, damn, man, you know, I knew Dave already, you know what I'm saying? So when I came out, he was like, damn, man, he was like, what do you do? Like, he like, yo, you be everywhere. I see you everywhere. And I just remember smiling, saying I live life. You know what I'm saying? Because like, that was the truth. Like, I don't really know what he wanted me to say. Like, yeah, I'm his kingpin, or, you know, I didn't know what, because I don't know how he knew me. You know, all he said was, man, I see you everywhere. And he was like, man, I see you everywhere. What do you do? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, shit, I enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember shaking Dave's hand, you know what I'm saying? And Dave's like, Joe, what's up, man? And he was like, damn, this is my brother, you know? And I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? And then me and B.I. had a limousine company, a transportation company. And Mike Lighty was using our transportation company for the Bravehearts when he was managing the Bravehearts and everything. So, you know, so I was tied into the Lighty family, you know what I'm saying? Like that. But I had my own relationships. Like, that's why I say I got my own relationships and people know me on their own. My stuff ain't through nobody and all that. I was speaking to say every day, like when 50 and G Unit used to come up to Violator. So, you know what I'm saying? And 50 had told them, like, man, whatever he got to say, you know, telling Yayo and Banks them, like, listen to him. Like, you know, whatever advice I get him or got to say, whatever, like that. And we was cool, you know what I'm saying, from that point. And then, you know, if I had beat CDs or whatever from Missy, SC, Bryce, Havoc, you know what I'm saying, whoever I had beat CDs from, he'll send them in there to be like, well, if you got some beats for me, you know, make sure I get them. So, you know what I'm saying? And then that was that. So I think at one point, I don't know if it was Yayo or Buck. It probably was one of them, and they went to jail. And I was telling 50, I'm not trying to replace that person, but to put Saigon in the crew in G Unit would have been a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and they was in talks with that for a minute. I think Saigon actually put that in his book.
That's crazy, man. Because I
Mm-hmm.
was going to ask you, could you remember the first time that they actually brought 50 up to the Violator offices?
I don't remember exactly the first time, but I know I was there. I know I was there seeing them coming. You know what I'm saying? I know that. Mm-hmm.
Damn, so that's crazy. Like 50 actually told them to take some of this guy's advice when he's offering you some advice. Other producers that were dope from G Unit were Needles, Red Spider as well. A couple
Mm-hmm.
dope producers.
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying the producers that was managed by Violator,
Right.
you know, which was Havoc, Missy Elliott, Bryce, SC, you know, and then of course we used to slide in Spike and Jamal, which actually done Missy and Elliott, Missy and Monica's record, that dun 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 dun, So Gone, that So Gone record. So I actually gave them that track, Missy and Monica. So they had did an anniversary. I need my plaque for that shit too. I'm glad we spoke on that. I got a lot of plaques I can get. Busta Rhymes, Busta would be up there. Actually, that's how I met Big Fendi. I met Fendi in Violator. He used to be up there. So I met him up there. Yeah, that's where I first met him at. And what was the other guy name up there? I want to say Jose, but I don't think it's Jose. It's something. But Ice, the kid Ice, a dude Ice, and he wound up being like a international promoter or something. He was being like a link to bringing artists from here to there, from Violator.
I remember hearing that name back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, JoJo, were you around? How did you become affiliated with Black Wall Street? Were you around when Game and 50 actually came together?
Yeah, this was before that. You know what I'm saying? Actually, my cousin D-Mac is the one that signed Game. You know what I'm saying? So, once again, I'm already affiliated with the whole situation, you know, from the beginning.
Word. So could you break it down for me, man? Like what was it like when Game, I mean, his momentum just had to shoot through the roof when he joined G Unit.
Yeah, because he was already at Aftermath, you know, and putting the music together. So that was something that Jimmy Iovine and 50 spoke on, you know, to say, hey, he'd be a good fit over there, because they basically didn't have nothing, you know, like a young, fresh talent at Interscope over there. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a good idea. Like I was trying to do with Saigon and put him in G Unit.
Right.
So it ended like a good fix. Saigon was heating up in the street. You know, G Unit was already popping, and he would have been a good fit. He didn't sound like none of them. Because I remember them at Violator didn't want to sign Banks, because they were saying Banks and 50 sound alike. And I'm like, y'all crazy. Banks was on fire. You know what I'm saying? 50 had his thing going on, but they didn't sound alike. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even so much like they were speaking about the same neighborhood or something. Like Banks was a whole nother style of a rapper. Banks was like a battle rapper, like, you know what I'm saying? Banks' bars was through the roof. 50 was making concept records. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I be knowing, like, a lot of times these companies and stuff, they don't really be knowing what they be doing, man. You know, I don't be understanding. And I just always had an ear for music. So I knew that was wrong, that they didn't want to sign Banks because of that, thinking he sound too much like 50. I'm like, y'all crazy, you know?
Damn, that's pretty dope, man. Because I was just thinking about it, you know, like obviously with what you were just saying, the Game was the West Coast, Young Buck, obviously the South, Saigon, New York. Obviously, if the executives weren't believing in Banks, and you know what I mean, Yayo got locked up, so Saigon would have been that fresh voice from New York. How did 50 react when you voiced Saigon, or how did the other executives react?
No, because it was me and 50. You know what I'm saying? 50 was like, he just was like, all right, you know, like he'd think about it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then him and Saigon was in cahoots. They were two-way paging at the time. So, you know, we was all in cahoots. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man. Yep. Definite possibility.
And then I don't know what happened, but 50 wound up dissing Saigon. I forgot what happened or what it was, but he wound up dissing Saigon because he said, I just remember something something about Saigon. He's like, oh, Saigon's a bum. You know what I'm saying? And I remember that, and I don't know why. I forgot. I'm actually called Sai and asked him, like, what the hell happened? I forgot now. But and that's when it was kind of like, oh, 50 after that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would
major salute to Saigon. He's got a second win right now. He's rocking with Tech 9, I believe.
And he just dropped a book too.
How did your name get attached with the G Unit spinner chain and Young Buck? Was it because the chain was lost in Chicago?
Yeah. And I recovered it. So the first battle rap record, which was not the first battle rap record, but the biggest battle rap record at that time, which was 300 bars. And you know what I'm saying, of course, Game had my name in it. He said, when you got robbed for your spinning G Unit in Chicago, I hit my nigga JoJo to get it back. He had it in his hands. You ain't had a 10 stacks. Picture that. Thought we was G Unit, you know. So that was like a huge record for the industry and the culture at that moment. So it really made it like uh once again put me in the middle of a feud of Game and 50. So it would kind of like tarnish the relationship that me and 50 had because of that. But I was just doing a good deed. So you see how you can do a good deed and it can backfire on you. You see what I'm saying? So it actually, to be honest, from that point, I was like, I don't care what happened to nobody no more. You know, I don't want to be involved. Don't call me about it or this and that. And of course, I shouldn't have never said that because it seemed like I got called for everything out of that. It's like soon as I said I don't want to be a part of nothing, don't call me for nothing. Man, I turned it to, I think they called me the hip hop mediator. TMZ coined me that. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, wow, you know, but whatever. If I can help somebody, like I said, man, I always usually try to do it, you know.
So let me ask you, did Chicago make a point to like disrespect G Unit by doing this? Because, you know, this is the hard group from New York.
No, it ain't a point of disrespecting. It was just a robbery. It was just a straight up robbery. I see this chain, is diamonds or whatever, and I want it. You know what I'm saying? So a robber took it. You see what I'm saying? Like that's that. It wasn't it wasn't nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then people start saying, "Oh, JoJo took it so he can get a feature from y'all," because that was the climate. That's what was going on in LA and basically probably Chicago too, that if somebody has some leverage, you see what I'm saying? It's like, oh, we'll do this song with my artist or something, and then I'll give you your shit back or whatever. But that never was my case. I never asked them for no features or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I just got the chain back for them and gave the shit back, you know?
How hard was it to actually get the chain back?
It wasn't hard at all. You know, not for me. I'm in the street. You know what I'm saying? So anything that goes on, what's going on in the street, I had full access to know what was going on. So like a lot of times a person would done something and be like, oh, I didn't know that this was that or whatever. So here go it back and whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or I might say, well, this how this can be handled. Or, hey, they took it, they don't care to keep it. You can pay this fee and get it back or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it usually go. It's like a finder's fee in a way. You know, you can't tell a robber not to rob. That's what he do.
Looking back at it now to see Young Buck and 50 like publicly going at it, what's your take on all the static, after all the years in the game together?
I mean, it happens, man, as you can see with them. That's the prime example that it happens. They can be like brothers and then they fall out and it get ugly, they tried to rekindle, fell out again, fell out, so some stuff it's over with, like wash your hands from it, and Buck can feel some kind of way like he jumped out there for Dr. Dre and, just trying to show his loyalty and everything, you know what I'm saying? So he been trying to jump out on the front line, and show his loyalty, and it's like it's only to get like smacked back in his face or something. So he feel the way he felt and he lash out the way he lash out. So,
I was going to ask you earlier with the Gucci and the Jeezy battle, like, did Gucci take it too far? Did 50 take it too far by releasing personal conversations and for poking fun at his sexuality on Instagram?
Mm-hmm. Well, like I say, once you fall out, it's like the gloves come off. So once we feuding with each other, the gloves come off. You start exposing stuff and things that you wouldn't have if y'all was still cool. You see what I'm saying? Some people would say that's wrong. You take certain stuff to the grave with you, but then some people say that's the art of war. I'm gonna embarrass you. Like I say, him and 50 got into it. 50, they said, okay, you dealing with trannies or whatever. 50 gonna use that to his advantage. You know what I'm saying? Okay, they said Jeezy put a hit on Gucci, sent that boy over there to try to rob him, and it backfired. Gucci ain't never gotta forget about that. You see what I'm saying? So they say you can forgive but never forget, or you can forgive and forget, or just be like, no, it's on at all times. Like, how do you really tell a person that had a hit on him, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and he became the victor in the situation, how do you tell him to not feel that no type of way? You like, it's like that it don't make sense. Like, I don't know, it's different strokes for different folks, you know, but it showed that they put it all to the side to do what they done. So you gotta salute them and commend them for that, you know. But I guess that was Gucci expressing himself that, like, I would never forget what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have lost my life that night, you know? What if I didn't have the tool? What if I couldn't defend myself? You see what I'm saying? So people got to keep that in mind. That's a trigger for a person, you know? It's a trigger for a person. So, but they was able to show the culture that they was able to get over their differences for the most part, that they can be in the same room with each other, you know, after this time, and there wasn't no chairs flying, or he didn't try to jump over there and fight him or whatever. They stuck to the you know, solid foundation of that, and then they went and partied after the fact. So you got to commend them for that.
I think we've got to talk about Young Jeezy and Gucci Man, the versus battle last night.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched the whole thing. That's my era of, you know, running around with them guys and knowing them guys personally. You know, my introduction, of course, to Gucci. You know, we was promoting shows. You know, these are my promoter days and promoting shows, and we had booked them for a show in Minnesota. I actually booked them like 3 different times, Chicago and Minnesota, like 2 different times. So, but because it was notably that I was running around with Jeezy, you know what I'm saying? You know, when they was having a situation, I guess it kind of made Gucci leery, you know what I'm saying, and not knowing. But my whole thing was this, like, you know, to backdoor them or line them up, which never was the case or whatever, you know what I'm saying? My whole thing is, look, dude, ain't nobody gonna give you their government name and then try to backdoor you or do something to you, even though people do stuff like that. You know, we got world's dumbest criminals, but I'm just not one of them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and Waka, of course, the security, and Deb, you know what I'm saying, can contest to this. You know what I'm saying, what I'm speaking on, because it was like, you know, the money was paid, hotels was paid, extra security was paid, you know, and it was some things done off record to help him ensure that he would be good. You know what I'm saying? So he was supposed to go do sound check, and he didn't do sound check. So the orders was to put, you know, the food in his room. You know what I'm saying? So of course we go to security, you know, we go cater the food to put the food in his room. All the time he never had went to sound check. He was still in the room. So he looked through the peephole and he thinking we coming in there to jack him. You know what I'm saying? And he called Deb, come get me. They trying to kidnap me. They trying to jack me. But that wasn't the case, you know. And like I told him, I'm like, trying to jack him, we not gonna give you extra protection and to try to do something to you. It didn't make sense. So I think overall it was him not knowing that I was behind, you know what I'm saying, or affiliated with the bookings. You know, when he seen that I was involved with it, he just knew that he seen and known that I was running around with Jeezy heavy. So, but like I said, I've never been a backdoor type of person, you know what I'm saying, and I always stayed mutual in any situation. And if I can help, you know, put the fire out on a situation, then I was always willing to do that. You know, so he didn't feel comfortable. He left, you know, didn't do the show. They sent the money back, and we had to do the DVD. You know, this is the DVD series, so I had put out Chicago version DVD, and you know, and it was to the point where I was upset about what happened. So I started calling him Coochie Man. You know what I'm saying? And it was all on World Star and all that. And like I say, rest in peace to Q. Like I told people, like, I'm one of the prime people that helped Q start World Star, because he would take my DVDs and rip them, you know what I'm saying, and have the exclusive footage. Then once he passed away, the people that he left in charge, I don't really know how they rocking it, but I never had no use for them no more after that anyway. But and then as far as Jeezy is concerned, we was gonna do, you know, like I say, Global Gangsters was the umbrella. running with a lot of these brothers, you know what I'm saying, and holding them down and assisting them into whatever situations that it was and doing business with them and all that. So it was more so like we was gonna do, you know, Global Gangsters, you know, songs with Jeezy and Slick Puller, which we wind up doing, you know, just putting the movements together, you know, merging the movements together and working with each other and doing something for the fans for the most part, because that would be stuff that they would request. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't understand, like, the fans play a big part in what goes on in the culture and in hip hop, you know, and I hear, you know, just to speak on certain things about like the culture vulture situations, to whereas that if it's a European dude, you know, in hip hop, you know, Vlad, you know, yourself, or even what's the brother name over in Europe? Well, I think he in Europe, you know, the guy over there. You know, when
Oh,
y'all
Tim Westwood.
Tim Westwood, you know what I'm saying? Now Adam 22. Now I'm speaking on this because I'm speaking on what I saw Adam 22 do last night. You know, doing the versus battle. You know, I seen him in the comments saying, I think I would want to quote him right, but it seemed like it was an instigating situation. So when people get upset at guys that they considering guests in hip hop, is because we be looking like you know, we already dealing with our own ills amongst each other. Let us fix our situations. Don't use your platform to help you know, incite the riot more, you know, or instigate the situation, which is why, you know, I have my distaste and dislike for academics. You know what I'm saying? Like, he built his whole career off the backs of the hardship of Chicago, you know, and the young brothers and sisters that we lost, you know, and calling them savages and all that. Like, people know how to evoke emotions, you know what I'm saying? So you got a lot of these guys that went to college, they psychiatrists, so they know the things that they do and say that they can trigger a person. You know, I done seen it and watched it. You know, you know, I'm an avid, you know, I'm an avid person to look at what's going on in the culture so I can see how people playing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, do they really care about us, or is it all about clickbait? You know what I'm saying? And views. And for the most part, I see it's all about clickbait and views, you know, and getting traffic to their site and trying to sell their Patreons and all this and that. And it's like, it's crazy. That's why I was saying, like, bro, I really don't even care to do interviews. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that my interview gonna drive traffic. That ain't nothing new. I know that. I know my interview can drive traffic, but I just don't want a person to use no faulty clickbait titles and all that. Like, that's fake to me. And I don't associate myself with nothing fake or fraudulent. So I don't want no parts of it. So that's why I tell anybody, if I do an interview with you, don't never do no clickbait titles and all that with my name attached. Like, or I would never do it again. I give them, you know what I'm saying, ups. I give them the ups to tell them how they know how to deal with me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm not no media whore. I'm not a YouTuber or none of that. I do motivational speaking. I do life coaching. I do some management. I do some consulting. So yes, I'm gonna utilize all of the social media platforms for those causes and for those reasons. Not to be on here arguing with nobody and going back and forth and talking about people business. Like, I don't like none of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's my personal thoughts and my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? But I understand it, because it's like, these guys that are YouTubers, they got to wake up and try to report on every situation with they spin on it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you're going to see all this stuff on TMZ or Shade Room and Ball Alert. You're going to see majority of the stuff on there first anyway. You know what I'm saying? Then it might spill over to World Star, and then it's definitely going to spill on over to all the bloggers. You know what I'm saying? And they all going to put their spin on it. Now, like I say, for you, I had felt the need that, okay, Mikey T, say, Joe, I've been paying attention to you and your movement for over 9-10 years or whatever. So it's only right, you know what I'm saying, that I do an interview with you, because, you know what I'm saying, like I say, I never heard of you doing no bashing of me or none of that. You know, like it makes sense that, yeah, you're not gonna do no interview with nobody that be trying to bash you or go in on you or upset because you haven't got a chance to do the interview. And in some cases, it's like if you ain't got nothing to talk about or you ain't marketing and promoting nothing, what you getting on the interview for? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So, you know, so for me, you know, I can't tell nobody how to do they or conduct their interviews and all that, you know. I just I can watch a person interview once or twice, and I can automatically know from that point is if the person even know how to do an interview. You know, if it's interesting or not, or it's foolishness, or they only reporting drama. You know what I'm saying? So I got the choice to say I don't want no parts of that. You know, but like I like how you said, man, I got some questions, I got some stuff jotted down, like I put some thought into this and this and that, and it's like, okay, cool. Now that's how interview is supposed to be conducted. You know what I'm saying? And so far, the first question was about, you know, Jeezy and Gucci's verses, and I spoke on my part of me knowing them and, you know, things of that nature. And I'm glad that them brothers was able to settle their differences, you know, for the culture and themselves. You know what I'm saying? And you got a lot of people that's biased right now, and they upset, you know, and feel like, you know, soon as Gucci started dissing his homie, he should have fought him and all this and that. You know, so then you got adults with clear frame of minds that was probably raised to learn how to forgive and forget. You know what I'm saying? Say, hey man, you know, it turned out well, you know, and then they went and did an after party after the fact. You know, and I'm quite sure as I'm hearing, you know, people saying Pookie Loke family is upset at Jeezy, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, so I just wish for the best. Like I said, it's been 15 years with that going on, and you know, no more bodies or nothing dropped behind that. You know, and I understand from both sides. Like I say, if somebody put a hit on me, you know what I'm saying, I got the right to dislike that person the rest of their life. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, you know, he might feel balanced out because he became the victor in that situation. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know too many people that's gonna be at ease with something that can happen like that. You know what I'm saying, to them. You know, so that's why I would forever be that friction amongst them. But you know, they stay their distance from each other, and life goes on.
You know, with Gucci Man and Jeezy actually coming together, I felt like they are really setting an example for the youth. What's your thoughts on everything that happened with King Von and Quando Rondo over the last week?
Man, and you know what? To hear from his you know, rest in peace to Vaughn, rest in peace to his father. You know, the thing about that was to hear the manager state and say that how Vaughn was only wanting to fight, you know what I'm saying, when he seen him. It never was no gunplay involved with that, and they feel like when we see each other, we gonna scrap, you know what I'm saying? So that was big to hear that, you know what I'm saying? But now it was unfortunate that you came with a real with a real way of doing things, meaning if we have differences, let's fight it out, you know what I'm saying? And he did just that, you know. But it was unfortunate that the other little brother, you know what I'm saying, see, it's once again, it's gonna keep being a catch-22 in a lot of situations, because the backstory that you hear about everybody, they from Chicago, they some shooters, they doing this and that, you know. So all you can kind of do is prepare yourself for if you ever to run into a person like that. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't know how they coming. You don't know unless it be publicly stated, like how some guy was trying to set up whenever these guys have a beef with each other. He was trying to do the boxing ring, you know, like how they was doing with Chris Brown and all that. And a lot of people always declined it. They never done it. But in reality, that's really need to be done. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you just can't talk it out and settle your differences that way, because my thing is this, I don't even want it to get to the fighting part, you know, because you do have some sore losers, you know, that you fight and you lose, and now you want to snake the person after that, you know. But it's like it's only a fight. You able to wake up, walk, go hug your kids, kiss your mom and them the next day. But with shooting, ain't no coming back from that. you know, and if the case go wrong and that young boy go to jail for the rest of his life, and we lost a life, so nobody won, you know what I'm saying? And that's why you have a person like myself that'll tell him, man, put these guns down, man. Like, it's like, damn, you can't even agree to disagree no more. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they let their fans egg them on and send them off. It's just sad, you know what I'm saying? Overall, it's sad because we using young men, you know, and losing young women with this stuff. And then, of course, I'm going to speak on T.I., and it was being distasteful for what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? You can't become a person that feel like you can speak up for the better of the culture, and then you do something distasteful as saying like, oh, y'all stop coming to Atlanta and all this and that. Like, I'm disappointed at that. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, I'm disappointed at Tip for that because, you know, it shows, and he shows the world that he a highly intelligent young brother, you know, speak his mind, do a lot of reading, you know, so it's like you're supposed to lead by example, not, you know, you don't do that like that. So that's why I say 50 Cent spoke on it, and then like they say, like 50 said, he spoke on it because Von's sister reached out to 50 and left a message saying, you know, 50 speak, you know, say something, you know what I'm saying? So he felt the need that, damn, you know what I'm saying? Here this young guy's sister reached out, you know, because of what T.I. is saying, and he stepped up to the plate. Now, once again, that's how it's supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? All these guys that got a voice in our culture, they have to play a part. You can't tuck your tail when it get real. You know what I'm saying? You got to voice your opinion, speak on it, and as me as a man, like I tell Tip, that was distasteful, bro. Like, it ain't just because they say, oh, yo, he just saying that because I'm from Chicago. No, it's just distasteful. That's something that I would never have said. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have never said that. Like, the average person know why these guys moving to LA and Atlanta and wherever they moving. They, you know, to get away from the hardship that we going deal with every day here in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's like right now it's Christmas time coming up. So of course it'll be a lot of robberies, it's gonna be a lot of killings and jackings. And it's sad. You can be trying to carjack somebody and you don't know that this person got a gun on his lap. So as soon as you come to reach for his door, they blow your brains out. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you're trying to break in somebody's house, they sitting right there, blow your brains out. You know, so it's like, it's not that serious, man. You can go get a job, you can save your money, manage your money properly, and you can have whatever it is you think you want in life. Just, you know, people get upset with me because I say that. Go get a job. Oh, you should be telling them to be entrepreneurs. Hey, man, you have to start somewhere. How you going to be an entrepreneur with no money? So you got to get a stepping stone. You have to get money from somewhere. So, you know, Jeezy just put out a new video. I just saw it with him and Rick Ross, and he's speaking on that. Like, forget all the Gucci and the Louis and all that stuff and buy up the neighborhood, buy up the block. You know, like he's speaking on that. Like, stop buying Gucci and Louis. These people that put out messages that they don't even like. They don't even like us. You know what I'm saying? They don't like melanated people, or they don't like our culture or whatever. So it's like, so why would we continue to spend our money with them? And I'm with that. Like I told people before, NBA YoungBoy put out a clothing line. I supported his clothing. You know what I'm saying? I could have got it for free, but I bought it. You know what I'm saying? I could have easily hit them and say, man, send me some of that stuff. I didn't do that. I bought it. I supported it.
Yeah, man, that's in a way why I related it to King Von's whole situation, like watching Gucci Mane and Jeezy really boss up. And so I really wanted to ask you, JoJo, I wanted to ask, like, how come there's so much of a target on the younger generation in Chicago? It seems like a lot of people within Chief Keef's crew, you know, they're facing life-threatening situations.
I mean, for the most part, it's the dissing. It's the dissing. When you keep dissing the dead homies, and hurt people. So it's like it'll never stop as long as they keep disrespecting each other. Until they come to a common goal to start respecting each other, then they can keep it on wax how it originally started in hip-hop with the Kool Moe Dee and them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they kept it on wax. So if they can keep their differences on wax, it'll be perfect, you know? It'll be perfect. But when people start getting shot and all that, like, and killed, and you know, that's kind of like hard for some to let go. And that's why it lingers and go on so long.
Especially in a public setting. I mean, look what happened to FBG Duck in the middle of like an outdoor shopping plaza.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just crazy right now. I pray for Chicago.
And rest in peace, Duck. Salute to his family, his mother, a loving person, his father home. So, you know, it's sad, man. Like, I wish everything could have stayed on wax with whatever, you know, with all of them. You know, we don't want them losing their life for no entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like, because now you take away from them growing. You can't hear the new music that they would have made. That's how we say with Biggie and Pac. We never know what was going to come from that. You see what I'm saying? So, to be honest, Jeezy and Gucci is the closest thing to that.
I didn't get to ask you who won that battle.
I feel like once again when I spoke on who did I say? Oh, 50 and Banks. Like 50 made concept records, and that's Gucci. That's Jeezy. Jeezy gonna make the concept records, and Gucci gonna give you straight raw uncut records. Mm-hmm. But he was able to do concept records as well. But it just was more on Jeezy's side, you know, far as concept records, you know, of things that he spoke on.
You're spot on.
Yeah, and Gucci just came street gutter, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if Gucci would have gave you a My Presidents Is Black, you see what I'm saying, record or things like that. But Gucci gonna tap into the everyday person that's in the hood, in the trap, you know what I'm saying? He gonna give you that. Like, you know, he's still on the block, you know what I'm saying? And then you got you got Jeezy that's gonna let you know that, man, I done flipped enough bricks that I'm living in penthouses and big cribs. I ain't on the block no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that transition. You still stuck in the hood, you know, which is how he was saying it. Like, you know, Gucci say, I got on $5 million worth of jewelry and my outfit $10 million. And Jeezy say, hey, well, my outfit don't cost $10,000, and I wasn't born here in Atlanta, but I own half of it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so it just go to show you where the mind frames are, you know, like, you know, you still stuck in that type of mind frame, and I'm over here. But for the most part, Gucci people feel like, hey, he changed his life. He eating clean. He got you know what I'm saying? He, you know, training his body and everything. So they feel like he made a transition as well. You know what I'm saying? You know, which he did. He made a 360. You know, person probably would have never thought that transformation would have came like that for Gucci. But he got it together. Now he got a baby. So salute, he got his new baby coming, you know, a married man. So he's showing growth as well. You know, it's just his growth in his way, you know. Jeezy got a new girl. He probably finna get married, probably finna have a baby by her. So they both, you know what I'm saying, you live in life. So they both have children already, so they gotta show examples. And like Jeezy said, it ain't about us. We know what we came up doing. We know what happened with us, and we was able to overcome that.
So I want to ask you about Rick Ross and Larry Hoover.
Mm-hmm.
So if Larry Hoover comes home, do you imagine he would want to correspond and work with Rick Ross? Is there any possibility of that?
I mean, I can't speak for Larry, but I just want him to come home. You know what I'm saying? It's looking good for him, so hopefully he come home soon. And if Rick, the artist, you know, feel like, because the real Rick Ross is home, but I understand what you're saying. If the rapper Rick Ross, if he feel the need to, you know, do whatever in Larry's behalf, you know what I'm saying, that would be cool. You know what I'm saying? Because he made a song off his name, and, you know, once again, that's showing our culture how to compensate each other. So it's like I made one of my biggest records is with you involved. So therefore, here, I got a care package for you. You know what I'm saying?
50 and Ross, they've had a long beef, but now it seems like they're in talks over the BMF song, you know, actually being used in the show. How important in general do you think it is that they use the BMF song on that show?
I mean, you might as well, because it's a part of the soundtrack to that group. You know what I'm saying? To BMF. So it's It's a record that's basically a soundtrack for them, you know. So as business, it makes sense to put it in the show. So 9 times out of 10, evidently, they might gonna be using that song as the intro. So I don't see Ross saying no because he able to make money from it. You know what I'm saying?
So what's your take on the BMF story actually being adapted for television?
I'm just ready to watch it. I'm gonna watch it like anybody else. I like For Life. I've been watching For Life. I like Power. So I'm proud of 50. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm proud of him. Actually, before Free Mata, before Mata went to jail, I had some films and some TV stuff that I was gonna run through 50. You know what I'm saying? Through Mata. You know what I'm saying? So then Mata got locked up. So, but no telling. Me and 50 could have been doing business right now.
Well, 50's definitely found his niche with that
Mm-hmm.
television market. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you said, I'm looking forward to BMF as well.
Yeah.